Hi, and welcome back to Dirty Bearing's Garage. We got a heat wave going out here today, guys. It's about probably in the 50s or something. Normally I'd be complaining about this weather, but I'll tell you, compared to what we had, this is actually pretty nice. We've been working hard, well, not hard, but here's a Jacobson deck over there. We got that all stripped down today. Here's our motor off of it. We got it draining right now. We're gonna check that thing for a steel cam later on. Doing some other stuff, but this is the third mower out of that bunch of three, and we're gonna make an attempt to get this one running. Like I said, this is somewhere in the 60s. I couldn't tell you. Unfortunately, we are missing the original pull cover that's gonna give us all that information, but it is what it is. Anyway, you want to notice we got the steel wheels, all four matching. Tires kind of bald, obviously, but they're all four of them are there. We have, I think this deck, I know this deck's been repainted because there is a sticker right here that says something. I can't make it out. But look at this thing underneath. Look at that crankshaft. I mean, for something as old as this is, it's not leaking oil everywhere. It's got some, but nothing, considering its age. We have, it's a 3 horsepower Briggs & Stratton. That tag alone on the engines is going to tell you it's an older one. We got a pretty rare, it's got the milk jug gas cap. That's a rare option right there. This is definitely not the original pull cover. It's a blade brake cover. This was not bolted to it when it came in. All the bolts are still in a block for it. We got the old ball and cam starter set up. It still does move. Engine does spin. I can hear the piston in there moving. This is still set up with points. We're gonna make an attempt to clean these points up and see if we can get some spark out of them. If not, we're going straight to magnetron because I don't have points around here. I haven't played with them in years. Also, what we're gonna do, since we're here taking this thing apart anyway, go ahead and pull the head, check the valves. We're gonna clean them up, probably re-clearance them. I mean, this thing's probably about 40 years overdue for a valve job. So anyway, what we're gonna be doing for right now, while it's warm enough out here, I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a quick bath, kind of degrease it a little bit, and then we're gonna pull it in here in the stand, take it apart, and see what we can figure out with it. So we'll be back shortly. All right, guys. So I did my usual chaos. I ended up pulling the engine off of this mower for work purposes. We have a lot of built-up grime in here. It's almost like cement. It's going to be easier to take this thing apart. We're going to put some old gas on there and stuff to loosen that up. I'm not going to paint this engine by any means. I'm going to leave it patina. But I do want to get that grime out of there because all that's going to do, that's just going to create more heat that we don't need. There's some issues with this thing that we got to take care of. So anyway, first off, we're going to get this air filter out of there and see what's going on with it. So go ahead and get that. I haven't even had this thing off yet. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Yeah, I'd say she's been there a little while, even if this was the original air filter, but whatever. We'll take care of that later. All right. I'm happy to see this. All right. So we are missing the governor here. Luckily, our linkage is still here, but one thing I want you to notice, this is an oddball carburetor right here. I was hoping to see this. You got your choke right here. you want to notice when you hit this thing just right, see the choke is actually run by the throttle itself. I had one of these carburetors many moons ago, but as I said, your normal carburetor is going to bolt right here. This one's bolted over here on a tank, so we definitely got an oldie here. I'm gonna have to dig through the memory banks here and remember what year that one was, but tell you a funny story about that. The last one of these carburetors I saw like this, if I remember right, I was probably about 17, something like that. So my dad had a pickup truck. You know, I just recently got my license and everything, and we had weekly garbage pickup in Rhode Island and everything, but they wouldn't take the bulky stuff. So every here and there, he'd have me take the truck and everything, you know, load up old TVs or whatever, you know, all this bigger stuff that we had. You know, obviously, and he, of course, he knew me very well. He's like, "Hey, Bernie, you know, take this stuff to the dump, but, you know, don't bring anything home." Because, of course, he knew I was going to. So I'd always come home usually with more stuff than what I had, than what we dropped off. And I think he got a chuckle out of it, but, you know, but anyway, one of those trips was a lawnmower with this same exact carburetor, and I remember that thing clear as day. Can't remember, couldn't tell you what I did yesterday, but I do remember that carburetor. Alright, this spring has already been butchered up, so we'll just go ahead and get rid of that. Snip that right out of there. Alright, look at that. Alright, here's our other mountain bolt. But yeah, see how grunged up this thing is? This has got the old steel plate. It goes underneath. There's a 1/4-inch bolt that holds that on. We got to get that out of there, get this plate out of here, because they love to collect grunge in there. And that plate is meant to flow the airflow from the shroud and everything around the cylinder. When it gets plugged up, it's not going to do its job. So there's that. But yeah, here's this old carb. I don't know how much you guys are, you know, into the older stuff, but this, you can see this is not your average carburetor. Not even close. This is probably, I'm gonna say this thing was only made a couple of years. I don't know this for certain. Gas tank, not that bad at all. I got some rust in there a little bit, but for the most part, for something that's as old as this is, yeah. This gas tank, well, let's put it this way. I was born in 1969. I am 55 years old. This mower beats me by a few years, so yeah. It's in better shape than I am, let's put it that way. But another real quick thing I wanted to show you. Another thing that I wanted to try. This mower does have some type of a sticker here. And I doubt the camera's, nah, it's definitely not gonna pick this up. I've been playing games with it a little bit, doing some paint thinner. I did this on a video before. I had some overspray on some stickers. I did paint thinner with some fine steel wool. I was able to clean those stickers up perfect. This is, you know, far more intense. This mower's probably been repainted for who knows how many years. I'm gonna play games with this a little more though. We're gonna shave it down little by little with some steel wool and paint thinner. Hopefully we can get something here to maybe it'll bring some light to what the deck is. There is letters on this thing on the back here. It says action. I cannot read what it says on the beginning of it. But as I said, there is nothing on the back of this deck, any remains of stickers or plaques or anything. So I have absolutely no clue what this deck is. So we're gonna keep working on that front sticker. Maybe that'll give us something. But anyway, give me a couple minutes here. We'll be back, and we're gonna take this ignition system apart next. And then basically we're gonna take the top half of this engine apart, take it out, give it a good wash. We'll probably take some more gasoline or something to get all this junk off of here. And then we're gonna go from there with it. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, now it's time to get this ignition system out of here. The more I think about this, I think we're gonna go straight to magnetron, but we'll pull it apart anyway. So, as I said, you got your ball and cam set up here. Basically, we gotta get this thing off. They do actually have a tool that would fit over this whole setup, and you zip it off with a impact or whatever. I don't happen to have one. But what I do have, I have a beat to snot 3/8 extension that's been around here for a lot of years. Basically what we're gonna do, you take this end, you put it up against one of the nubs, and you smack it a few times. So we're gonna break this thing loose and get it off the flywheel. So I'll show you how that's done. So, I mean, what's a dirty burning video without a little hackery, right? Yeah, there she goes. We don't need no stinking special tools. Let's go ahead and do it like such. All right. See that? One blade break. Blade break. Ball and cam off of there. Oh, she's rusted up pretty good. So I'm going to blow a little oil in there. Hopefully we can get this thing off without destroying it. Because we don't have a flywheel puller here. Never used one. I should. You know, I'm not going to lie. Of course I should use one, but what you're going to do, you're going to run your magnet over here. This is your strongest part of the flywheel. And we're just going to give her a couple lub taps. And here goes your flywheel. Look at that. Quick and painless. Huh. Yeah, the key actually looks to be intact. Let's go ahead and pop this points cover off of here and see what I'm curious as to what they look like. I'm gonna do magnetron on this engine, but I will hold on to this coil just because it looks to be pretty decent. And I will guide you guys through a points ignition system at some point in time, but right now I'm just, I don't know. Something's telling me this engine been sitting a long time. So these points coming back, I'm kind of have my doubts. All right. Wow. Actually look pretty clean. So here's your points of condenser. Let me give you a better look here. Condenser here. You're going to have your wires. You're going to have a wire that goes up to the coil. You're going to have a second wire that goes to your ground, which is, I already disconnected that. That's what grounds the whole system. Your points. Let's see if these things actually still... Yeah, actually they still do work, huh? Maybe I should try them. All right, well, yeah, we'll think this one over. For right now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna disconnect this condenser and pull the wiring and stuff out of here. Like I said, this thing is so heavily, you know, this is basically like glue right now. It's been here for so long. We got to get this thing clean. This is going to be a patina special, but I want this thing, you know, as far as mechanical working order, I want this thing clean, everything to function properly and everything. So give me a second and we'll get that out of there. All right, so I went ahead and removed the plate I had mentioned. This thing, you have to pretty much pull the motor to get at this one. You got, I don't know if you can see it, the hole right here. That's where your access is. One little 1/4-inch bolt going into the block right here that holds this plate on. And it's impossible to get to with the motor on it, with the engine on the mower. But I'm gonna show you. That's what I was talking about. This is why you always want to take these things out and clean them. Basically what's going on, your flywheel is going to be spinning. You got your fins here for your cylinder. And what it's meant to do, it's supposed to blow air down here, and it's going to exit out where where the muffler is. And if you notice on this engine, 90% of your fins are plugged. Look at all that junk right there. That's just stopping airflow. So the thing's gonna, you know, it's gonna be heated up. So that's why it's very important to, on these, any engine for that matter, to get that plate out of there, clean this up, put it back in, you know, running condition again. This cylinder was getting super hot, guaranteed. So we're gonna be cleaning that up. As I said, I pulled the coil with the condenser and everything on it. I don't know, guys. It doesn't look all that bad, but you know what? For what we're doing with this mower, I'm just gonna put a magnetron on this thing. I promise you guys, I will run you through a complete points ignition setup. But for this mower, I don't know. There's so many things that aren't original about this mower that, we're gonna go magnetron. That way, we're gonna let it sit out in the yard for another 40 years, and it'll still have spark. But so anyway, we're gonna go ahead and clean this block up a little bit. I'm gonna take some old gasoline and get this junk out of here, and we'll probably end up bolting it back to the mower or whatever, and then we're gonna get going on these valves. And this is gonna be kind of a long video, sorry, but I mean, if you like to see this type of stuff, hopefully you'll watch it and we'll get some good views out of it. So anyway, we'll be back. Guys, we're back at it. Did a little cleaning on the engine, got it looking a little better in there. This is gonna end up being a 2-part video, unfortunately. It's getting kind of late in the day. It's cooling off a little bit, and we got a lot more to go. A lot of cleaning to go. In my haste last night, I was so excited over the stupid carburetor. I didn't even notice that. This intake, she's just full of rust. Gotta get that out of there. The body of the carburetor. Let me shut that. You might be able to see it. She's all crudded up and everything. So we're gonna have to, hopefully we can get this butterfly out in one piece and get in there with a Dremel and clean all this up. One thing I noticed, I was laughing. Right here's all loose. This is your air idle adjustment. And so this would have been a nice air leak right there. So we're gonna have to fix that. Matter of fact, on these older carburetors, if you didn't know, your jet's right in there. And you are able to take it out. Carb's only got 2 screws holding it on. We'll get into that in a little bit. For right now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and pull the valve cover and the head off of this engine and go from there with it. I've been playing with the sticker a little bit too, with not a whole lot of success. It was getting to the point, I actually had to use sandpaper on it. But I believe what it originally said was vacuum action. So that's really not giving me much of a clue of anything, but it's kind of neat to see it anyway. But anyway, let's go ahead and pop this cylinder head off of here and see what kind of a mess we got going on. Use that. And the air is on, right? Alright, let's see what we got. Oh, a nice mess in there. Yeah, she's definitely carboned up pretty good. We're gonna have to take a bunch of wire wheel with that and everything. And valves. Why are the valves moving? That's what I'm curious on. Yep, they are still moving. That's always a good thing, at least. How's this cylinder? Alright, that's good. No big scratches in the cylinder or anything. We're just gonna have to clean it up really good. Alright, we'll go ahead and pop that valve cover off of there real quick. Get that out of the way. Yeah, we're gonna pull these valves. We're gonna get in there with a Dremel, clean those ports up. Matter of fact, the muffler broke off inside the block. So that's always a fun one. Basically, you're gonna take a hacksaw blade and, you know, cut a slot in that, and then bend it out of the way. It can be done. It's not one of my favorite things to do, but. Gasket gonna come off in one piece, possibly? Maybe. It's got to, probably either reuse that, or I'm sure I got another one in stock. Yeah. That. I don't know if I'd showed on this channel before pulling valves or not. This is one tool that actually is a specialty tool that I use. This is a valve spring compressor. Basically, you're going to sandwich a spring in there, tighten it up, and you'll get the keeper out. I'm going to pull one valve. I'll show you what's going on with it, and then we'll get to the other one. There we go. So, you got your valve stem here. Here's your keeper. You notice the hole gets a little wider in the top. So with that, this is what locks your valve in. Then when you want to pull it, you compress that spring, move it over like so, and you pop your valve right out of there. All there is to it. You know, you can do this job with a couple screwdrivers as well. This is one tool I actually prefer to use the right way. And what I always do is I put the spring in the keeper on the valve that it came off of. I suppose you really don't have to, but I think it's better off. You slipped on that one. Figures. Got it, I think. exhaust valve out. So, as I said, we're going to go ahead and do 2 parts. Because like I said, between cleaning these valves and everything else, I mean, I have hours of, you know, and I wouldn't have to do all this if I really didn't want to. But, I mean, why not do this thing right and get it over with? So, it is cooling off out here. It's my last day off for the week anyway. Luckily, the mower gods are being nice to me. Now, I have a weather app on my phone, and this thing is predictable as all get out. It's been excellent. So it's going to actually drop down for the next couple days back into the 40s. And then my next day off, which is going to be either half Saturday or all day Sunday or something like that, it's climbing right back up into the high 50s, low 60s again. So we will be back with this one. Hopefully I'll have some headway done. I don't think you want to see me have me film, you know, 8 hours of cleaning. Nobody wants to see that. I mean, if you ever, any of this stuff, if you want to know how it's done, I'm happy to share the information of what I use. Like, I got my wire wheel that goes on the drill. I'll get the heavy stuff off the head and the piston and all that. Things like that. My Dremel will get inside those valve ports. That intake, I'm probably going to just dump that thing in vinegar and just let it sit a couple days and it'll eat the rust right out of it. But, you know, things like that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this so far. And like I said, part 2 is going to be actually putting this thing back together, and we will be starting it in the next video. So just stay tuned and we'll be back.